Hi guys! In this video today, we are going to be focusing on the spine, how we can start to move the spine, get some extra loving on the spine, and maybe find some ease to all of that discomfort that you might be feeling. So let's start with a little bit of breath. And a lot of our practice is going to be done in a chair. So if you want to pause the video and go grab a chair, that would be great. So with the breath, let's come into a 3-part breath. This is going to be a smooth inhale in and a smooth exhale out, hitting all 3 spots in that one breath. So I like to place one hand on my belly, one hand on my chest. And start to take an inhale in. Let's just get that breath moving. Exhale out. And inhale. Exhale. And so as you take this inhale in, you're going to start to fill that belly space first, then the ribs, and finally the chest. Exhale. Inhale, fill the belly space first, ribs, chest. And as you exhale, you're going to release from the chest, ribs, belly. So inhale, you start to fill the torso from bottom to top. Exhale, release top to bottom. Good. Inhale. Up. Exhale, bring it down. Last one. Inhale. Bottom to top, exhale, top to bottom. Great. So staying in your chair, I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see what's happening. We're going to come into arch and flatten seated, and even though the movement is going to start from the hips, our focus is going to be the spine and how it's feeling. So if at any point you need to stop, pause, or reevaluate how you're doing the movement, then please do that so that you're getting the most benefit from this practice. But as you're seated, I want you to come to the edge of your chair so that you're not leaning back against the edge of the seat. And then set your feet up so that you're comfortable with the legs coming out of the hips and the ankles under the knees. So as you come into this movement, we're going to come into our arch first, and you're going to start to roll the pelvis forward so you can feel the sit bones rolling to the edge of your chair. And that's going to tilt the hips forward. And then you're going to have this arch in your back. It's going to start in the low back. If you want to move it up the spine, just come into it a little bit deeper. And then bring the hips back to neutral, the spine follows. Again, tilt the hips forward. Feel that arch coming into the low back. And as you're here, pause. See if you can feel the muscles along the spine tighter. Hugging that spine. Pelvis comes back. Back to neutral. One more time. Roll the pelvis. Come into that arch. And if you're feeling stuck in a little spot, take it a little bit slower, a little bit smaller. See if you can get into that vertebrae, or that spot on your spine that doesn't really want to move a whole lot. And then you can bring it back to neutral. Pause here. And check in with yourself. How is this feeling? Do I feel like my spine likes to move throughout the day, or does it feel pretty stuck in its way? And then let's come into the other way. Coming into our flatten. So this time, you're going to tuck the tailbone, and you're going to feel your sit bones roll towards the back of the chair. And you're gonna feel a little curl maybe, a little forward bend to the front. And then pelvis comes back to neutral, sitting up to neutral. Bring it back, feel the belly muscles contract, and here you can feel a little bit of a stretch to those muscles along the back side of the body. Letting the spine breathe, open up a little bit. Back. 2 more times. Bring it up. Last time. And bring it up. So pause here. Do you feel like your spine is in neutral? You're still gonna have those natural curves to your spine, but do you feel like it's easy for you to sit up straight in this upright position? Or do you still feel like maybe muscles are pulling you in one direction or another? Good. Staying seated. We're gonna come into another movement. And we're gonna start to have this bend sideways to our spine. And in this movement, I want some extra space found in the spine, as well as some strength as you're pulling yourself back up to a seated position. So I like to hang my arms down by the side for this movement. And we're gonna start to drop our right hand towards the floor. And as you do this, you're curving the spine. You can drop that shoulder and find this contraction on the right side of your body. Easy does it. Back up. A couple more times. Down towards the right. Back up. Finding that lateral flexion on the right side. And you can even come into that left side body and feel that little stretch. Pause here. How does the right side of the body feel compared to the left side? Does that feel like a natural movement? Like sometimes we lean to one side, support ourselves here or there. So maybe one side feels natural to you, but maybe it's not the most efficient way to sit up. So let's come into the other side. Leaning towards the left. Feeling those muscles along the spine contract and stretch out on the opposite side. Two more. Good. Last one here. And maybe you even feel like you're maybe sitting up a little bit taller, like you don't have so much effort in a sitting up pose. Let's just go side to side. Nice and slow. Maybe it feels good to add that opposite arm. You can hang on to the side of your chair. And start to wake up the side body. Sometimes it's not always online. Good. Shake it out. Feel those muscles. They've been engaged a lot already. And now we're going to come into a little bit of a twisting pose. But to start, I just want you to hug your arms around you. And just nice and slow, start to rock back and forth, left to right. And feel that upper spine. How is it rotating? Is there a lot of rotation? Does it feel pretty stiff? Good. Relax the arms. Now let's come into some more twisting, adding the head and the neck, and maybe a little bit of the lower spine. So from here, I like to rest my hands on my legs as a kind of a guide when I'm twisting. And I like to scoot to the edge of my chair even more so that I can hopefully get the hips involved as I start to twist. Let's go towards the right side first. I'm gonna start to bring this right hip back. And as I do that, I'm gonna open up my chest, my shoulder, my hand's gonna slide back, and I can look over my right shoulder. And come on back. The hips, spine, shoulders, head. Come back to center. Again, right hip, spine, shoulder, chest, head, twist open. So we have that full spinal twist all the way from the base of the spine to the top of the spine. Come on back, one more time. Good. Let's bring it in the opposite direction. Guiding with that left hip comes back, guiding with the left hand, open up the chest, shoulder, head, neck. Easy does it. Bring it back to center. 2 more times. Taking it as slowly as you'd like. And pausing when you get back to center. And so now we've moved the spine in a lot of directions. We've gone forwards and backwards. We've gone side to side. And we've also added twisting left to right. So let's continue with the twist going back and forth between the sides and see if we can get the brain to work that quickly, moving from side to side. Taking it to the right, getting the whole spine involved. Other side. And if you take it slow, you can notice if you forget to move part of the spine. Like sometimes we forget that the hips, the lower part of the spine, can also assist us in a twist. One more each way. Great. So we're gonna do one last pose here. And so I like to just kind of ravel the spine in a little spiral. Going in a circle, getting the chest, and then coming in the opposite direction. So this kind of gets a combination of all 3 of those movements. Take a little wiggle. Close the eyes. And ask yourself, how am I feeling now with the spine? It was just a quick little warm up for the spine, but it'll get you through the day. Maybe you sit at your desk a lot, and even one of these movements you could do to help you find some ease in your spine. So thank you for practicing with me today. I wish you love, light, and happiness. Namaste.